Welcome to the Planning Committee meeting, Wyndham City Council, this Tuesday, the 8th of March 2022. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have a quorum. So in the spirit of reconciliation, before we begin this meeting, I would like to acknowledge the peoples of the Kulin Nation as the traditional owners of the land on which we meet and which Wyndham is being built. We pay our respects to elders past, present, emerging. Please stand for the opening prayer and welcome. We pray for guidance in the Council's decision making to achieve the best outcome for the people of Wyndham. Please be seated. I would like to welcome members of the gallery, press, councillors and staff in attendance this evening. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the internet. The recording will be archived and made available on Council's website. Whilst all care has been taken to ensure that your privacy is maintained, please be aware that your presence may be recorded. The format for the meeting this evening will be each item we heard separately, obviously. Council officers will present an overview of the report. Item 2, apologies. We have an apology for...
Mr Mayor, we have apologies from Councillor Sahana Ramesh and Councillor Jenny Barrera.
Thank you, Mr CEO. Somebody to move that the apologies be accepted, please. Councillor McIntyre, seconded. Councillor Zatkowski, all those in favour? Against, the motion is carried. Item 3, declaration by councillors of disclosure of conflict of interest, conflicting personal interest in any item on the agenda. Councillors, any items to be declared? None? Thank you. Item 4 is confirmation of minutes of previous meeting, and the motion is that the minutes of the Planning Committee meeting held on Tuesday 8th February 2022 as prepared and circulated be confirmed. Can I have a mover please? McIntyre, seconder, Councillor Hill. Any discussion, councillors? No discussion, I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Against? The motion is carried. Item 5, verbal submission from applicants and objectors. Mr CEO, do we have any verbal submissions this evening? One speaker.
One speaker, Mr Mayor. Sorry about that. Yes.
That's all right. I just found it myself. Item 6.1, planning permit application WIP 13063/21, development of a multi-storey mixed-use building, offices and shops, the display of signage and a waiver of on-site visitor bicycle spaces to Forsyth Road, Williams Landing. The report is on pages 7 to 35, recommendation is on page 8 to 14, attachments pages 36 to 161. Mr McKinnon, Acting Director, City Design and Livability, would you like to provide an overview, please?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So Council has recently received a planning application for the development of a multi-storey mixed-use building for 2 Forsyth Road. This site is located within the heart of the Activity Centre precinct for Williams Landing Town Centre. The actual application is for a building, for the signage associated and also for a waiver of the bicycle provision, parking, the uses of offices and shops, which the building will accommodate as of right, as per that priority development zone. The total office net leasable floor area proposed is 4,764 square metres across 60 odd suites, and the total retail general leasable floor area will be 568 square metres. The application is consistent with the priority development zone within which the site is located, is consistent with the Laverton Activity Centre precinct plan, as well as the development plan for Williams Landing itself. The application, the building itself, presents a contemporary and architecturally striking design, and you'll see through the recommendations with some conditions that the officers have supported the application. So that's the summary, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Mr McKinnon. We'll now hear from the applicant and Mr Patrick Archer, who will be representing the applicant. Patrick, would you like to come forward? You have 5 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, councillors, Stephen and council officers. I'm Patrick Archer, Chief Operating Officer of Cedar Woods, and very pleased to be talking about our application this evening. You may be familiar with Cedar Woods. We're a listed property developer. We're active in 4 states, and we've got about 30 projects nationally. So Williams Landing is our flagship project in Melbourne, and we've owned the land since 1998. Boston Commons is part of the Williams Landing development. We call it Boston Commons, but it's 89 Overton Road, the same building. And the Boston comes from the Boston aeroplanes that used to fly from the site. So many of you may be aware that we've taken a lot of the references and names within the estate from the history of the site, the aviation history of the site. So around 15 years ago, I presented the Williams Landing Town Centre strategy to Council at a very similar meeting to this. And the strategy was easily summarised in 5 steps. Firstly, we established the residential community. Second, we got the government to provide infrastructure, the freeway interchange, the train station. Third, we needed to provide retail amenity. This was all in advance of this occurring. Fourth, we needed to deliver housing diversity. And fifth, we needed to deliver offices and street activation. And that's the part we've been delivering in recent years, and Boston Commons 89 Overton Road continues. With the residential neighbourhoods now largely complete, we're now doing more and more development in the town centre, and that is our primary focus going forward. So we've currently got about 30,000 square metres of office space either delivered or underway, and there are 150 plus businesses operating out of Williams Landing right now. So Boston Commons is our 6th office building at Williams Landing, and the 3rd one to be sold down as strata office suites to be occupied by small businesses. We've already sold about 80% of the office suites in Boston Commons to date, and it's sold very, very fast, ahead of schedule. And it's probably due to the post-COVID decentralisation that's occurring in cities all around the world, and particularly in Melbourne. It's also probably due to the fact that Boston Commons is a really good-looking office building, and it appeals to the many businesses now in Wyndham that are taking up residence there. So if this permit is approved tonight, we'll commence construction in the second half of this year. And in around 2 years' time, there'll be another 67 businesses located at Williams Landing. We have about 2/3 of the town centre, Williams Landing Town Centre land yet to be developed. So over the coming years, we intend to do more and more development like the development you've seen at Williams Landing, and we intend to try to lift the standard in every development we do. So try to improve the architecture and the design and the intensity of that development going forward. I look forward to delivering those, and I look forward to making further applications in due course. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Councillor, is there any questions of Patrick? Councillor Hill.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Hello, Patrick. Before I ask my question, I just want to quickly make a comment. I welcome this planning permit. Residents in Williams Landing have been waiting for this area to be developed for almost 10 years, and they're just so eager to see. They're just very eager to await.
Councillor Hill.
See.
Councillor Hill.
Yes.
Can you ask a question, please?
Yeah. I just want to put a background before I ask a question.
If you can ask a question.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. So. Yeah, people are excited to see more jobs and shops, places shops. May I please ask, what is the plan to finish the planning for Williams Landing Town Centre, and how long roughly it's going to take? Thank you.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor. This question isn't relevant to the actual application.
I think I'll allow the question.
Sorry, on the point of order, that would be unprecedented.
I think I'm allowing the questions. So
can I just ask, that
No.
as a matter of ruling? Well,
Actually,
I
my microphone isn't working.
Can I
I've
clarify?
given the ruling, so
I just want to clarify the ruling that you
I've
made.
already checked that the question can be asked, so I'm
just-
allowing the question.
That's fine.
Thank
but-
you.
And I
So
know,
can we move on?
No, well, in fairness, you're required as a chair to explain a decision. I'm seeking that.
It was asked of me prior to, could the question be asked?
Well,
I checked with the CEO, and the allowance was, it was suggested that the question was okay, so I've allowed the question to be asked. So
you've
I'm
not
allowing the
allowed
question
me
to be asked.
ask a question of you, so I would appreciate the opportunity if we can just calm it down a little bit and let me
I'm
ask
fine,
the
Josh.
question.
I don't have a problem, Councillor Gilligan. I'm just saying that
Right,
I'm
well
allowing
then-
the question to be asked.
Well then, am I now allowed to ask my question of you on the ruling?
Go ahead.
Thank you. So can I clarify that you're going to accept questions that broaden out beyond the planning permit itself to contain anything in relation to a developer for all future
No, I'm
planning
not.
committee meetings?
I
Or
was
it's
asked
just
for
a
re-
special
I was
case
asked
for a
I was
special
asked for
person in
relevance.
this-
That's enough. I'm allowing the question, so we'll just calm it down a bit. I'm allowing the question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Hill, quickly.
Thank you. Yep. Hi, Patrick. May I please ask what's the plan to finish the planning for Williams Landing town centre area, and how long roughly it's going to take if you have
Okay.
it?
There's a lot of land in the town centre yet to be developed. There's a lot of development sites like the one the subject of the permit tonight. We think it may take another 10 years or more to complete all that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Councillors, any further questions? No further. Councillor Gilligan.
Now that we are asking questions around broader developments, what are the current plans for the conservation reserves in Williams Landing at this point in time? Do you have any comment you want to make on the 3 conservation sites in Williams Landing? Is there any proposed, in terms of future plans, urban development on that space? There was obviously an application federally to look at that. Did you want to make a comment on that? Thanks.
Sure. They're conservation reserves, and we've had a discussion with the federal department, and they don't want to entertain any change to those conservation reserves at the moment, and that's where we're leaving it.
Got one more, thank you. If I may. So the
Yeah,
other
for
question is
sure.
around the issues with regards to land for a school. It's obviously a common question you're asked. Do you want to elaborate on where that is at as well? That'd be insightful as well. Thank you.
Okay. So we've been trying to attract a school to Williams Landing since about 2007. We've offered the land to the state government many occasions. We've offered the land to the private sector schools on several occasions as well. We haven't been able to attract a school there. And the last attempt we had, we still got a rejection. So we're quickly running out of land. So, yeah.
Councillors, any further questions? There being no further questions, I put it to the vote. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Mr. Archer. You may sit.
Thank you.
Councillors, I now put it to the vote. All those in favour? Oh, sorry. Somebody to move. Second. Councillor Hill. Conversation? Councillor Hegeditch.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm looking forward to the development of Williams Landing. I know that it is designated as an employment spot for a lot of our businesses in this area, so looking forward to seeing this building come to fruition, as with the rest of the buildings that will come in due course. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hegeditch. Councillor Hill.
Thank you, Ms. Mayor. I welcome this planning permit. The resident of Williams Landing will be thrilled to see. They can't wait. They eagerly want to see the expansion of the town centre, and I look forward to see this area provide more jobs and places to shops. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hill. Councillors, any speakers against this motion? Any further speakers for it? Councillor Gilligan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to put on the record, despite the argy-bargy before, that I think this is another good example of exemplary urban design, again brought forward by this particular developer. It's exciting to see the type of high-density development we're seeing by Cedar Woods in Williams Landing, not just, of course, their obligations under the original development plan that's set out and was mentioned by the applicant before in terms of some of the conditions that are set in, but more broadly some of the future expansion opportunities that do exist in Williams Landing. I still believe and have reiterated for quite some time, this is the type of development we want to continue to see, and most certainly Cedar Woods continues to deliver that in every form, including the design here this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gillian. Any further speakers against? Against? No. Any speakers for? Councillor McIntyre.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I think this is a really exciting development within the Activity Centre for Williams Landing. Being a priority development zone, it's obviously an area of regional or state significance. Its build form, similar to that has been mentioned already, is modern, dynamic, and it's certainly in keeping with the streetscape there. Anyone needs to go down Overton Road and see the fantastic developments that are down there with a complete mix, as we've said this evening, with the residential and shopping. I believe the centre is full, so there's a clear demand for retail in the area. I do have a concern with regards to parking on site. I know there's a station and a bus stop nearby, but given our public poor transport across the centre in the area and our higher than average car ownership of usage in our area, I do have a concern that obviously, as we know, there is a transport impact assessment to reduce the number of car parking spaces that needed to be provided. And ultimately, there is provisional temporary parking in this area, which will ultimately have developments on there. So I do believe it's a really exciting development. I will be supporting it this evening, but I do have a plea to developers to consider the reality of what we'll have when all of the area is built with regard to parking. So I would love to be able to just support this development without any caveats at all. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor McIntyre. Councillors, any further speakers? Councillor Marcus.
Yes, thank you. I think this is a really good development, but I too have concerns on parking. I had a phone call the other night for somewhere else in the Harrison ward that they went to buy food and that, but they could not park a car and they had to leave. So it always concerns me when we do reduction in car parking. Everywhere we go, in all of our car parking, our venues and that, there's limited car parking. So I think that's one thing that we should stress, that we need extra car parking around all of our shopping centres so that people, because this is a sprawling city and people, it is a car city. People like their cars, and so therefore, I mean, I'm guilty. I live two blocks from the supermarket, and I drive my car because I can't get my stuff home on a bike. So really and truly, officers, I think really we should ask the developers if they would look to see about servicing more car parks on all their developments. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Marcus. Councillors, any further discussion? Councillor Mahfood, just in case I've missed your hand, if you've nothing? Cool, just checking.
No, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councillors, there being no further discussion, I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Against? The motion is carried. The next item on the agenda is 6.2 Development Plan Training Precinct, Wyndham A-League Stadium Project, 1160 Sayers Road, Tarneet. The report commences on page 162 to 174. Recommendations on page 163, attachments 175 to 259. Mr Thorpe, Director City Operations, is going to provide an overview of the report. Thank you.
So, thank you, Mr Mayor. So the purpose of this report is to seek endorsement for the development plan for the training precinct, part of the Wyndham A-League Stadium project. The development plan covers 3 soccer pitches, pavilion, spectator seating and associated parking. This development has been facilitated by changes to the Wyndham planning scheme, in which a concept master plan has been incorporated by the Minister for Planning. It's a requirement of those amendments to the planning scheme that the development plan must comply with that endorsed concept plan. And this development plan has been assessed against the requirements of the incorporated concept master plan and is considered to be in accordance with that plan. It is therefore recommended for endorsement. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thanks, Mr Thorpe. Councillors, you've seen the recommendations, or the recommendation, I should say. Do I have a mover for this item, please? Councillor Hegeditch, seconder Councillor Zatkowski. Councillor Hegeditch, do you wish to speak?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. For me, this is a really exciting milestone in this project, and we're certainly moving towards the delivery of a regional level sporting stadium in Wyndham. So tonight I look to my councillor colleagues to support this motion. I can't wait to see the training precinct to be up and running and ready for use, as this will symbolise the first of the development in this area, which will eventually see a state-of-the-art 15,000-seat soccer stadium, entertainment and hospitality opportunities in the precinct. Hopefully, if the council approves this motion tonight, it will continue to show the state government how we are missing a vital train station in this part of the municipality. However, this is an exciting game changer for this municipality, and I look forward to seeing the development start, and we therefore will be delivering on our Wyndham 2040 vision and our council plan for people of Wyndham. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hegadich. Councillor Zatkowski.
No, thank you, Mr Mayor.
Any speakers against? Any further speakers for? Councillor Gilligan.
Thank you very much, Mr Mayor. It goes without saying that one of the critical components of the infrastructure associated with this concept master plan is, of course, Sayers Road train station. And most importantly, the ongoing work that we're undertaking around the potential relocation of Sayers Road and the proposed railway station in order to improve access to the stadium precinct component as part of this plan. I do note on page 28 of this report, it talks to the fact that Council is still in preparation of the UDF for the Riverdale Town Centre, and I note that it states 2021, which of course shows the delay that I had mentioned as part of the quarterly update in the previous ordinary council meeting about this being a project that should have been absolutely underway and completed by 2022 and has not been completed. And I do continue to state my concerns more broadly about the progress of that project because of the importance of attraction of private capital in order to enhance the overall precinct site. And I'll continue to express that view as time goes on until such time, of course, as we complete the report. That's not to say that I'm concerned we won't do it. I'm just concerned that we're not moving fast enough. Again, the other broader observation that I would make is that Sayers Road station is the #1 priority station for this city. It must stay that way, or at least I would encourage my councillors to agree with that proposition and not to change the advocacy position as it stands today, because this project will attract thousands of jobs and tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars of economic activity. I look forward to seeing a report on that very shortly that will come through. So on those, for those reasons, I obviously endorse this plan. The other point I would make is the opportunity of a park and ride model that would be attached to Sayers Road in the same way we've got the Flexi Ride announcement provided by the Victorian Government in Tarneet North. By having that necessary vital infrastructure, we will ensure that people in Tarneet West get access to transport to and from their place of residence to the city. And as someone who was stuck on a train, again, getting to Tarneet for 70 minutes today, I can appreciate why these projects become so important to the livability of our city. So with that in mind, I do endorse this project wholeheartedly. I thank Kate Roffey for the work that she's done in this space, as well as the broader planning team, and look forward to the sod turning in the ground, I think next month from memory. Thank you very much, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Gilligan. Councillors, any speakers against? Any further speakers for? Councillor Hill.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm absolutely thrilled to see the delivery of this training precinct soon. Many of our residents, especially from cult backgrounds, are taking up playing soccer and are extremely good at it. I think we've got a huge potential in the future to win the national competition. As a big supporter of soccer, not just AFL, I'm pleased to see Western United representing our area in the Melbourne's West in the national competition. I'll absolutely be supportive of this recommendation tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hill. Councillors, any further discussion? No further discussion. I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Against? The motion is carried. Thank you. Item 7 on the agenda is confidential business. There is nil. And item 8 is close of meeting at 7:24. Thank you, councillors.